Good evening. We're going to call this meeting to order. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So let's have a roll call, please, Mary.
Mr. Christie?
Present.
Mr. Deacon is not here at this time. Gava?
Here.
Gardner?
Present.
Mr. Pomelo is not here at this time. Ms. Thomas?
Here.
Watson?
Here.
5 present.
Thank you. And we'll jump right into the new business, which is going to be receiving the Budget Committee recommendations. So at this time, I'll have the chair of the Budget Committee come on up and
Good evening. We've all got a copy of our recommendations that rejects this year's budget. And we have made some recommendations. I don't know if you want me to list everything, even the ones with no recommendations, or this just do.
I think if you want just the ones with recommendations, and
Okay.
you can skip over the ones that you already are all good with.
Okay. So, general administration on page 25, we approved that 6-0 with recommendations. And on page 33, recommended to reduce the grant matching funds from 15,000 to 8,000. That was approved 6-0. And the reasoning in favor was the draft policy has a maximum amount for grant matching funds of 35,000 as of January 31st, 2025. Grant matching funds had $27,215. And adjusting to 8,000 will bring reserve to draft policy maximum. Page 41, new equipment. Recommended increasing 3,000 this account from 15,000 to 4,500. That was approved 6-0. And reasoning in favor, the increase of 3,000 for purchase of new town council chamber chairs. This was proposed in the operating budget as part of town council contingency, page 59. Budget committee feels that general administration new equipment is more appropriate for this purchase. And there's a sister recommendation under town council contingency to reduce by $3,000. Budget committee see the approval of this recommendation would mean accepting like reduction in town council contingency. Next is cable television, page 43. Approved 6-0 with recommended changes. And the change would be new equipment, page 47. Recommend increasing 10,500 to this account from 18,500 to 29,000. Reasoning in favor, increase of 10,000 for the purchase of new laptops for the use by town councilors. Budget committee feels that cable television, new equipment is more appropriate for this purchase. And also there's a sister recommendation under town council contingency reduced by 10,500. Budget Committee would see the approval of this recommendation would mean accepting the like reduction in town council contingency. And against is the current year has an increase in this line item to replace computers that will no longer support Windows 10, holding off on the addition of new laptops to the following year will help residents absorb the increase in property tax. Next would be Town Council, page 51. Approved 6-0 with these recommendations. Salaries, page 53. Recommend decreasing 3,500 to this account from 14,000 to 10,500. And the in favor was a recommendation to increase town council stipend has come before the budget committee in previous years, as recommended previously. It would be beneficial to have this request come through manager's budget. Doing so would have the recommendation from the council's deliberation on salaries for the town where reasoning can be justified. Page 59, contingency. Recommend decreasing 13,500 to this account from 28,500 to 15,000. That was approved 6-0. And in favor, purchase of town council chamber chairs and laptops for council purposes is better placed elsewhere in the operating budget. Recommendations were made previously for the total reduction. General administration, page 41 for 3,000, and cable television, page 47 for 10,500. Contingency is for items that were not anticipated during the budget process that allows the council to move forward with an approved order during council meetings. Having money in this account specified for specific items doesn't fit the purpose. We move to planning, page 79. This was approved 5-1 with recommended changes. Salaries, page 81. Recommend increasing 5,750 to this account from 150,342 to 256,092. That was approved 4-2. In favor, the increases for planning board member stipend to 8,750, the $1,250 per member per year. The increase in growth in the number of meetings, site walks, the increase is justified. And against was, as stated previously, under the town council stipends, it would be beneficial to have this request come through the manager's budget. Doing so would have the recommendation from the council's deliberation on salaries for the town where reasoning can be justified. Next, training, page 85. Recommend decreasing 2,500 to this account from 5,000 to 2,500. That was approved 6-0. In favor, Reviewing past budget shows that training has not exceeded 2,500. There's no specific training programs listed as stated in other departments. Move to law enforcement is approved 3-2 with following recommended change. Recommended to delay the purchase of car 454 until fiscal year 27. It was approved 3-2. In favor, vehicle replacement is stated to be 120,000 miles or 5 years. The vehicle list shows that car 54 has only 74,509 miles and is a 2021. Purchasing next year would result in 2 cruiser purchases instead of 1. And against, we should purchase the vehicle now as recommended. Public Works, page 133. Contractual, page 139. Recommend reducing contractual by 40,000 from 140,900 to 100,900. Favor, the reduction is for engineering services from 65,000 to 25,000. As a reserve account, which had $56,550 as of January 31st, 2025. Draft reserve policy has a target maximum of 75,000. Parks and Recreation, page 171. Contractual, recommend reducing contractual by 5,000 from 52,500 to 47,500. That was approved 7-0. In favor, the reduction is for tree cutting at parks from 7,500 to 2,500. The reduced amount is enough for services needed this fiscal year. I'll move to donations, page 199. It was approved 5-0 with recommended changes. Cemeteries, page 201. Recommend reducing by 200 from 19,450 to 19,250. That was approved 4-1. And in favor was to reduce Maplewood Cemetery from $700 to $500. Increase in donation requests from previous years not justified. And against, cemetery justified the $700 donation. Provider agencies. Recommended reducing by $4,250 from 11,500 to 7,250. In favor, reduce Opportunity Alliance from 3,000 to 1,500. Donation request is a significant increase from previous years and above what other towns are donating. Against, Opportunity Alliance justified the need for the full amount. In favor for reducing Through These Doors from 2,500 to 1,250. Previous donation requests have been 500, but the council increased this amount by 2,000. The agency saying this increased their donation request to match. Dropping the amount brings in line with what other towns are donating. In favor to reduce the Fuller Center for housing from 5,000 to 3,500. This is their first donation, and we're also supplying trash disposal. And against, Fuller Center justified the need for the full amount. Miscellaneous agencies, page 205. Recommend reducing by 5,000 from 42,900 to 37,900. It's approved 4-1. Is in favor. Reduce Old Red Church from 20,000 to 15,000. The Budget Committee wants to explore the use of the Hasty Fund for 5,000, bring the total to 20,000. And against, 20,000 is justified, and the Hasty Fund should not be touched. General Administration, page 210. Recommend reducing Major Equipment Reserve 25,000. 25,000 to 0. In favor, this is a reserve account with $45,637 as of January 31st, 2025, period 7/2025 expense report shows that there is still 25,000 available. This gives a total of 70,637 for major equipment reserve. Draft reserve policy has a maximum of 100,000. While below the draft maximum, funds are sufficient. Code enforcement, page 17, was approved 6-0 with the following recommendation. Recommend increasing 1,000 to this amount from 1,500 to 2,500. Those in favor, looking at previous year, fiscal year 24, 23, $2,330. The current year, 1,779 through 2025-07. That's the report. Spending will be greater than the budgeted amount of 1,500. Also, CEO will be getting a dedicated vehicle. Now, I think I'm finished. Any questions that any of us can answer?
Don't know if there's any questions this evening. I want to say something that I appreciate all the work you guys put in. It's a lot of effort to go through all these numbers, plus ask all the questions and do all the meetings that you guys have been doing. I hate looking at numbers constantly and doing budgets, so I appreciate the effort and the time you put into making these recommendations. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Thank you.
roll call on receiving the budget committee recommendations for the FY '26 municipal operating budget.
Would you like me to read the order or just go ahead and?
If you would like to read the order, that'd be wonderful.
Receive Budget Committee's recommendation for the fiscal year '26 municipal operating budget, whereas the fiscal '26 Town of Standish municipal operating budget was forwarded by the Town Council Order 3225 to the Budget Committee pursuant to the requirements of the Standish Charter, and whereas the Budget Committee has reviewed and has returned written comments on the municipal operating budget under their letter of transmittal, now be it ordered that the Budget Committee's recommendations are hereby received by the Town Council for the proposed fiscal year '26 Town of Standish municipal operating budget. Further ordered that the Town Council votes on the Budget Committee's recommendation regarding the municipal operating budget as follows. And after that, it would be further ordered that both the municipal officers and Budget Committee's recommendation regarding each article is printed on the annual town meeting.
Point of order, is it possible to raise 2 questions about the presentation?
We're going to have, if you have questions, I think you can forward them to me, and then I can reach out to the budget committee.
Okay.
And then we'll have further discussions on those at the April 8th regular council meeting.
Okay,
So now,
So the motion at this time is to receive their
the
recommendation.
recommendations, yes.
Mr. Christie?
So moved. Present. Yes.
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 Mr. Deacon?
yes.
Ms. Gaba?
Yes.
Mr. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Pomelo is excused. Thomas?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
6 yes.
Great, thank you. On the, so I'll make a motion that we post or table the, postpone the voting on the recommendations until the April 8th regular council meeting.
Yes.
I second that.
That's Thomas.
Let's have a roll call on that. This is a roll call for the postponing the voting on the recommendations until the April 8th town council meeting.
Mr. Christie?
Yes.
Mr. Deacon?
Yes.
Ms. Gaba?
Yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
6 yes.
Thank you. Go on to, okay. Yes.
Order number 35-25, authorized Girl Scout Troop 322 to sell cookies at the transfer station. Whereas Girl Scout Troop 322 is a nonprofit organization whose fundraising efforts serve the members of the troop. Whereas Girl Scout Troop 322 desires to sell cookies at this transfer station as a fundraiser for their organization. Now be it ordered that the Standish Town Council authorizes Girl Scout Troop 322 to sell cookies at the transfer station on April 5th and 6th, 2025. Further ordered that the Director of Public Works will direct the Girl Scout troop where they can set up at the transfer station.
If there's any questions, don't know why they're seeing any. This is great for the Girl Scouts. Go sell some cookies and have us go buy some. And then we're burn them all off before summertime. If there's no discussion, let's have a roll call, please.
Mr. Christie?
Yes.
Deacon?
Yes.
Ms. Gaba?
Yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
6 yes.
Is there any other items this evening?
There are not.
We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor of adjourning? It's unanimous. We're adjourned.